I just don't have the tools. I have all the knowledge. I know the psychology of kids. I know they're supposed to test boundaries. I know they don't understand time. They have no notion of time. They want to do things at their own pace. And I can accept that. I get it. I did so many parenting techniques. I can be calm, patient mom most of the time. However, whenever I'm running out of time, whenever there's too much pressure, too much stress, I didn't sleep at night because they didn't sleep, they were sick, I'm hungry, I'm super exhausted by the end of the day, I just need the tools so that I don't yell like my mom yelled at me, or I want to be like my grandma, who was the sweetest lady ever. She never raised her voice ever, so I want to be like her. I don't want to be like my mom. How do I do that? Give me the tools. Okay, well, let's go get you those tools. Welcome to the next episode of the Zen Superman Podcast. Hi, I'm Elena. I call myself a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be specialist at having mommy tantrums and yelling at my daughter. And it's a very similar story to what I hear now with women coming to me from all over the place, telling me a similar story, telling me I did so many parenting courses, I understand the psychology of a child and development, I totally get it, they are not at the age of 2, 3, 4, they are supposed to start saying no, push back, test the boundaries, not have any perception of time because the moment they get absorbed in some activity, they need the time to explore. I totally get it. However, I'm a mom who has a schedule, who needs to get to work, who maybe there are other siblings. And it's like, how do I do all of this? Because right now I'm trying to nicely, gently explain. So most of the times I'm super nice mom, but then whenever it becomes too much and there's not enough time, I have too much stress, I end up yelling at them. So please give me the tools. I just need the tools. I know the theory. I understand all the psychology. I just need the tools so that I can manage the anger in myself and I can stop yelling. Okay, so this is the thing that I'm hearing the most often from moms who finish watching the mommy tantrum training. Because if you did not get to this point of understanding yet, I would invite you to go get it. It's for free. We are going to link it somewhere here so that you can book it. You can reserve your seat. Because this is the understanding you need. This podcast and the training is not for moms who still feel like, well, strict routine and you cannot be friends with your child and you have to threaten them because there needs to be strong discipline because I need them to succeed. Then it's okay, no judgment, that's totally fine. Then maybe this podcast is not the best use of your time. So thank you very much. Goodbye. This podcast is for moms who understand this is the outdated, traditional, conservative parenting, and you have been the victim of it. You understand how it killed your self-confidence, how it makes you maybe anxious. I have clients who are super anxious before making any decisions. They're like, I'm scared what my mom would say. I hear my mom's voice criticizing me, constantly judging me that I cannot do it right. I cannot make the right decision. I should just listen to her and do it the way she asks and like blah, 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 blah. So then they have their parents as this scary inner critic in their head. And that's not something you want for your kids, right? You want your kids to go out, make their own mistakes, go and smash their face, like learn from life, right? But we don't want to impose this traditional, like, fear-based parenting at them because we want them to grow up trauma-free. But now how to do it? Because kids don't respond, right? They don't respond to the gentle parenting, not in a way that it should work, right? It doesn't matter how many times, if you said it 1,000 times nicely, if you explained logically, your kids still don't care. So what do you do then? So that's the point when the moms come to me and they say, well, just give me the tools. Like, how the heck do I do that? Because I want to be that healthy role model for my kids on how not to break under pressure. But right now I have no other options because they are not listening to me unless I raise my voice. And I hate that because it makes me feel so guilty because then I see their big scared eyes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just traumatized them again. They will be scared of mama. And I don't want that. So how do we do that? Step number 1. Realize that it is your own tantrum that starts it. Yes, kids have big emotions, totally normal. They will keep having big emotions. That's fine. What starts your tantrum is your unprocessed emotions, is your anger, it's your frustration, right? Think about the last time you lost it. Think about that situation. What was going on? I just had a mom on assessment call. She was telling me, last time I yelled was this morning because my son was dressing up too slow. We had to get on time to the kindergarten. So after saying it 10 times nicely and telling him even like, put on that jacket, otherwise mama's going to get angry. You don't want mama to get angry. Kind of like threatening them with your emotional, uncontrollable reaction. Okay, she knew already this was not okay, but it's like, I don't know what else to do. And so then she felt the frustration because he was like, ha ha, he. He was like, like cranky. Sometimes the kids are cranky or they're just like not listening. It seems like they're not listening, they're ignoring. So then she started yelling. So I asked her, well, how did you feel as that was happening, as this situation was escalating? Because you're such an amazing mom. You're trying to do so much better than your parents. You're trying to help your son grow up feeling safe around you and your emotions. You're trying to teach him good lessons in terms of boundaries and good natural consequences. But how does it make you feel when none of that is working? And she was like, yeah, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm stupid. Like that's what she said after digging, because the first thing usually that comes up for you is I'm angry or I'm frustrated. So dig underneath, like what specifically made you angry or frustrated? What story are you telling yourself about the situation? Yeah, because it's stupid, because I'm trying so hard and it's not working. Nobody's listening to me. Okay, how does that make you feel about yourself? Yeah, I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like I'm not able to be heard. Like I cannot communicate to my child. Like what's wrong with me, right? Or I'm stupid. That's what this mom just said. Like I just feel I'm too stupid to do this, right? So what is it that's the story in your head? What do you make it mean? Because in that moment you're making it personal, right? In that moment it's no longer about your child. Maybe being cranky because it's dark and cold in the morning. They don't want to get out. They just want to keep hugging you. They want to keep playing. They could not care less about the timeline. But in that moment, it's not about the kids. It's about what you are feeling, what you're making it mean. It's the meaning you are giving to that situation. And you take it personal. You take it as a personal attack on you and your skills and your capability and your identity and who you are as a mother. So dig underneath that triggering situation that made you yell the last time and listen to that story in your head. What are you making it mean, that moment when you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm losing it again? Yes. So for this mom specifically, it was, I'm too stupid. I'm not capable of doing this. Yeah. I just don't know how to make my son listen. So it's my fault. I'm a failure. There was another mom who I met, I think last week, and she was saying, well, I grew up in a family where all the adults were too busy. Yeah. So nobody could pay attention. Mom was divorced. We lived at the grandparents. Everybody was still going to work. And I was a nuisance. So they just let me sit in the corner and just be quiet. Be quiet, take care of yourself. Don't try even to do anything because you would just slow us down and disturb us. So just sit in the corner and be quiet. So what she learned was, I'm ignored, I'm not worthy, I'm invisible, and I shrink. And that's the best way to stay safe. Get out of everybody's way. Okay? But then the same thing was happening to her as her son was calling her attention. So for her, the situation was that she couldn't even go to the bathroom in the morning. Because her son, she put him to sit on the floor, play with the toys, but he kept grabbing her for attention. And then she lost it because it was like, how come I cannot even have a moment for myself? How come I cannot even make my physical needs? I cannot go to the toilet without you crying. This is so not fair. I'm already doing so much for you, so much better than my parents and my grandparents. Like, okay, nobody yelled at me, but they kind of made me sit in a corner. I had to take care of myself. I am taking care of you, my child, 24/7. I'm always here for you. I'm even co-sleeping with you. How dare you? You should even let me, at least leave me alone for 2 minutes so that I can go to the bathroom. How come it's not enough for you? You see, it's all coming back from that childhood. So what happens with these moms, and check it if that's happening for you too, is that the moment they are pushed above and beyond what's acceptable for them, so their own needs are not being met in that moment because the child is just like pushing, bulldozing all over it, asking for more. In that moment, it's your own inner child that comes for rescue. Because all of your adults smart, so much information, you have so much logic, so much information, you know how to do it right. But the moment when none of it works, your smart brain like poof, checks out. It's like, okay, I'm giving up, bye. And the brain leaves. And who comes up like this? Sometimes people call it monster or shadow. I hate when people call this shadow. This is not a monster, this is not a shadow. This is the emotionally frozen you who was 3, 4, 5 years old. And that's why you start reacting like a 3, 4, 5 years old. You couldn't yell at your parents back then. But this is the only way that a 3, 4, 5 years old know how to protect themselves. That's why you start uncontrollably yelling, expressing your emotions. Some moms even like shake the kids or spank them because in that moment they have no control over it. It's like that survival instinct, and it's the younger version of you who jumps out to the rescue. Okay? So this is what you need to understand. This point is so critically important. You need to understand this has nothing to do with your logical brain. No amount of you reading books, doing courses. There was a mom even who asked me if I can read like a brain scan, MRI scan, and if I can teach her to do that. And I said, my dear, that will be worth nothing for you in the moment when you are losing your patience, because in that moment, your logical, smart, super full brain checks out. Who takes over inside? This is the part of you, this is like identity chipped off of you. That is subconscious. That's completely different part of your nervous system that is directly linked to your body. It hijacks your body. And you know, like the positive hijack, can you think like maybe a while ago when you were falling in love the first time, how your cheeks would get red and you were like, you couldn't even like put one sentence straight, like the first love. I'm talking like whatever, silly teenage years, whatever. And you were like, no, I hate it. I want to stop feeling red, or I want to stop feeling, sweating. Yeah? Your body is doing it without your brain wanting, right? Or stage fright. You're supposed to go and speak, do public speaking. Logical brain, ready to go, and like you have all the information, you have all the preparation, but your body is like, why? Because this is the power of your subconscious and the direct highway link to your body. That link is stronger than your logical brain. Your logical brain cannot do much in those moments when it feels like fight or flight or freeze, right? When it feels like, oh, okay, now this is serious. That's when your subconscious mind takes over, which is exactly what's happening in those situations with your kids. And I know it sounds weird, right? Like, I'm not in a fight or flight situation with my kids. Well, yes, you are. The moment you're pushed too far and you're too stressed out, running out of time, feeling afraid of being judged. There are so many parents at school, like in front of the school watching me, like I cannot have my child throw a tantrum here. Or my parents are watching, it's Christmas and they're coming. What are people going to think, that I'm such a shit mom that my kid is having a tantrum? It's like, it's stress. And that moment your logical brain gets hijacked and whoop you go, and whoop your anger comes out. Yes. So, point number 1, when you're looking for tools, I can save you years of your time and loads of your money in helping you understand that no amount of logical information, like you don't need more information. What you need is 1, heal that little girl inside who's jumping up for your protection. Because until you do, she will hijack your super smart brain, and I don't know how much you feed that brain, she will be always stronger. How do I know that? Well, not only from my own experience of somebody who, even before I had my daughter, I was a coach, I was a therapist, I had so many certifications on effective communication and burnout prevention and stress management, because I was HR leader, I was human resources, I was executive coach. I knew it all. And yet when my daughter triggered, flip the switch, and I was just as out of control as you are. Inside the program, I have moms who are, I have even one neuroscientist. And I was like, I had such a such a hard time keeping my face straight and not laughing when she told me she was a neuroscientist, because I was like, of course you are. Of course you want the tools because you already have all that knowledge, but you don't know how to make it happen in the real-time situation, right? That's why I have so many like parenting coaches, counselors, who else? Mental health nurses, teachers. There's so many teachers who come to me, yeah? Because they have the theory, the logic is there, but the practical, like being able to implement it and live it, that's what's missing, okay? So that's, you want the tools? Well, here are the tools. First of all, find somebody who understands that this is a kind of trauma, what happened to you in your past and how it's linked with your current trigger. That little you who gets so angry, she's coming from your past. It is directly linked with your history, most often with your own childhood, the first 6-8 years of your life. Also, if you had a happy childhood like me and most of the women I work with, no amount of counseling, EMDR, hypnotherapy, DBT, blah, 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 I don't even know all the... One other mom on the assessment call, she said, you just name all the letters. I did all the therapies. None of it helps me. And I was laughing. It was like, I know. You're telling exactly what I'm experiencing every assessment call when I ask people, what have you already done to get the help? They tell me all those abbreviations of all those special therapies. None of them help them. Why not? Because all of these are targeted at picking up the shock trauma, picking up the visual memory of when somebody really harmed you, traumatized you, inflicted a lot of pain. Most of the moms I talk to, just like me, I had no serious trauma in my childhood. I had a happy childhood. I just had parents who were not a healthy role model on how to deal with stress. That's all. So I cannot complain. I'm eternally grateful to my mom. Yeah, but that's what makes it then impossible to go for any kind of classic therapy, because you will sit there on the chair, they will invite you to talk, and you will keep talking for the next 10 years, and the therapist will still sit and like, okay, but that's a normal childhood, lucky you, but I don't know what I should help you with, because this is not about your childhood. They're blind to this trauma. That's why I'm doing my PhD studies and research on that, because I need to put that on the map so that every psychologist and counselor knows this 1,000 paper cuts, the trauma that is not even about what happened, that somebody inflicted a lot of pain at you, but it's the trauma of what did not happen. That you were not safe to be who you are because you were constantly criticized. That you did not feel good enough, that you did not deserve the praise unless and until you were hyperachieving, controlling, perfecting, hyper-rationalizing, always on the go, people-pleasing, trying to anticipate the needs of your parents who were out of control from one second to another, avoiding tiptoeing like that girl who had to sit in a corner and just be quiet so that she wouldn't disturb anybody. Those are all trauma coping mechanisms, and somebody gave them to you, maybe not by hurting you directly, but by what they did not give you. They did not give you unconditional love. The appreciation was very conditional. You have to be a good girl at school. You have to always say yes. You have to always smile. You can never have a tantrum, never be angry or like start shouting or crying, because this is not acceptable. Me, the adult, I'm so stressed out. I have so many worries. I'm so important and my life and work is so important. You're not. So you better make it easier for me by being a good kid, okay? Then I can give you a hug, okay? But right now I'm too mad at you. So don't come even close to me. Come to your room and come back when you're nice and happy, okay? That is generational. Developmental trauma, because it develops with you, one paper cut after the other every single day, hundreds, thousands of them. So that's why then you go to therapy and you don't know what to talk about because you had amazing parents. They just got mad sometimes. 1,000 paper cuts. So you want to get the tools? Step number 1, realize this is what's happening and go and seek professionals who recognize this is a problem and this is a type of trauma. 1,000 paper cuts type of trauma. and that have effective techniques in helping you heal it, because this is something you cannot do as a DIY. I'm meeting so many powerful, strong women who went through so much pain and they are used to pushing through it by themselves because I'm so strong and I'm so courageous. Just give me the book. I'm going to learn it. I will do the exercises because I'm self-motivated and I'm so strong, and I will just push through because nobody was ever there for me when I was growing up. So I have this trauma pattern in me that I have to prove them wrong, and I have to do it by myself because I'm strong. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. It's another type of trauma. So then they are scanning all the books, doing all the free trainings, and they feel guilty if the training that sounds logically perfect, it made perfect sense, but then they cannot have the result in their real life. So then they take it as a proof. Okay, it's reconfirmation. I'm not good enough. I just need to keep trying harder. And they try to push themselves and do it as a DIY, do it yourself. Well, let me give you a hug, and let me give you another point that you need to understand. Trauma healing is not a DIY. This is like you becoming the best neurosurgeon in the world. I'm using this analogy so often, by the way. If you're listening to my podcast, if you were on any of my assessment calls, I love using this metaphor because it's like as if you were the best neuroscientist, like neurosurgeon in the world. And you wanted to come home after a full day of saving so many lives and healing so many brains. You want to come back home and open your own skull and do a surgery on your brain. That doesn't work. The part of you that's reading instructions and that keeps in mind the logical steps is not the same part of you where that trauma, that little you with all that anger, frustration, feeling ignored, not heard, not loved unconditionally, feeling not worthy, feeling stupid. That's not where she is. She's not here. That's why no amount of like sticky notes with positive affirmation. I love myself. I'm worthy. I'm love. I'm light. Yeah, put billions of them all around your room. I don't care. It's not going to help because that's just to feed your logical brain. It will do nothing with your nervous system. That's why these are nice, like add-on, but they're not the solution. They don't heal it at the root. The root of it is in your subconscious mind. And you cannot reach your subconscious mind if your logical brain is still on and running on overdrive. That's why you need to have sessions with somebody who understands how to bypass the logical brain, turn it more visual, turn it more playful, and take you to a place where you can actually feel safe to drop into your body and feel that little you who felt that anger, feel all these emotions she had back then, and help you heal. Because we are not going to grab any one visual memory experience, because as I just said, it was not one, it was 1,000 paper cuts every day, every week. So you cannot go and grab one and heal that and be healed like all over the board across like for the rest of your life. You need to heal that sentiment, that energy, that feeling, what she felt back then. You need to have a method and a technique that somebody else needs to apply so that they can have their brain on, their logical brain on, and guide you for you to turn that brain off so that you can reach your subconscious mind and your body, the nervous system in your body. Okay? Now, how I am doing it differently with my team, we are not doing it as some kind of abracadabra magic because I trained my team for the end of each session with a client. They pull back the curtain and they explain, my dear client, this is what we did. This is why, so that now your logical brain can catch up and understand what really happened here in the session. And by the way, these are the steps how you can keep practicing by yourself, because now you know the destination. Now you know where that sits in your nervous system and how it feels when it's off and how it feels when it's on, when it's healing. And so now here's the process. Here are the tools that now you can start practicing. Because we took you there, we bypassed the logical brain, you dropped in your body, so now you know where to go back to. Only at this point, you're ready for the tools. Now, that's not even the end of the story. Sorry. It's not linear. It's not magic overnight. So not only you have to keep practicing this, like these tools then to heal your inner child every day, several times a day, few seconds at a time, doesn't have too much time, okay? It doesn't take much time because everybody I work with is like super busy, super mom. So they don't have like 1 hour a day to sit on a quiet yoga mat. Like, no, it's something you can do on the go, but you have to do it permanently, like several times a day. This becomes your new autopilot, okay? But not even that is enough. Why not? Because it's not just about your past. You can imagine, okay, let's play it again, that scenario of that little boy who was getting dressed or not getting dressed to go to the kindergarten in the morning. So once you start working with your inner child, your like uncontrollable anger, the anger will be controlled. Like you will get hold of it. You're not going to explode. But what do you do then? Your kid is still not getting dressed. The clock is still ticking. The parenting scripts are not working. What do you do then? This is where the second piece comes, and this is what I do with all of my clients, and that's mental fitness. Mental fitness is literally rewiring your brain and installing kind of like a healthy blueprint. Our parents, one way or another, you either grew up with parents who were extremely controlling, strict, manipulative, maybe even one of them was like narcissistic, a-hole, not caring about anybody else. Another option is that your parents, your mom or your grandma who raised you were super nice, super sweet. Like she never raised her voice. She always put everybody first. She did so much for everybody, nothing for herself. And I just want to be like her. That's a people pleaser, self-sacrificing martyr victim who's going to get cancer sooner or later. We don't want that either. And another type of parents that we have, and these are most typically, it comes when we have guys joining the program, like dads or men without kids. But they come and tell me that the pattern was they had avoidant parents. Like there was no talk about emotions. Like if you had a problem, just go in your own room, figure it out by yourself. We don't talk about any struggle here. We just push forward as if nothing happened. Is there a conflict? Let's not talk about it. It's okay. Tomorrow is another day. It's fine. Like go again. Everybody in their corner. Are you having a big emotional child? Like go behind the door. They didn't even push the kids to go to their own room. There's so many parents who put their boys like outside of the house. Just like go out of the house, go behind the door and come back when you're calm. Okay, so then this is like a third major pattern of how our parents processed or did not process emotions, how they did not deal with them the healthy way. And we are bound to repeat that autopilot. You can be the nicest mom 95% of the time when you're not triggered, but the moment life throws something at you, like your kid is sick, so you need to tend to them even during the night, you're not sleeping enough, time is ticking, too much pressure, you're trying to do it all, Christmas is coming, so many things to even keep in mind and plan and organize and buy and make sure that everybody's happy. But then, like the more pressure there is, the more likely you're going to lose it, because there's a gap between your current ability to handle stress. So if your life is easy, you can handle it because it matches your ability to handle stress. Whenever something happens in your life and the problems, challenges, and pressure starts piling up, there's a gap. So what do you do then? The more stressed out and the more outside of your comfort zone you are, the more likely you're going to default into that autopilot that you got from your parents. And you will either start yelling or people-pleasing, self-sacrificing martyr who ends up yelling sometimes anyways, or you start avoiding, shutting down, freezing, and numbing yourself out. Just like many of this is typical for guys, not making any generalizations. We have also a lot of women who are freezing, avoiding, and numbing themselves, which then leads to addictions, self-harm, or anything like whether you're trying to wake yourself up because you're numb for most of the time, like gaming, sex, drugs, alcohol, shopping, social media, adrenaline sports, when you're trying to go and at least wake your system up just to feel anything. That comes from avoidance pattern from the childhood. So if you grew up with any of these, yelling, people-pleasing, or avoiding, you will then, whenever life throws more at you than you're able to handle, then you will default to what you grew up with. No matter how much of inner child therapy you have done. So it's not your fault. Even if you've done any kind of inner child work, And even if it was more than just reading and logically understanding, even if it was including some practical exercise that you should be implementing throughout your day, even then you will be stuck and going all the way back to the autopilot. You will not be yelling, but you will still feel helpless because you're not connecting with your kids. They don't hear you. So what needs to happen here in mental fitness, we are literally rewiring the brain. We are rewiring the brain to go from when you're feeling like, triggered, like red alert, I don't want to yell, I'm not going to yell, okay, I'm not yelling, but what do I do next? Panic. Because I want to go back to what I grew up with, back to these old patterns. This is where we need to give you a healthy blueprint. Because I don't know how about you, I had no idea what unconditional love really was. Because I never experienced it as a kid. I always had to work for it and work really hard to prove it and to deserve it. That's how I was made to feel when I was little. That I have to work extremely hard to deserve being loved and being showed any affection. I had to put myself last. I had to be so selfless. I had to be quiet and try really hard and even anticipate the needs of my mom. It was drilled into me that I'm not good enough the way I am because I have the monster, the shadow. That was the girl who was ugly because she wanted something for herself. She was selfish, she was lazy. So I was made to feel ashamed for my dark parts or for my lazy parts. So then how do you explain to your kids what unconditional love is, that they should love themselves, that they can do anything they want in their life, that they should feel confident because they're amazing? How do you want them to feel that way? Because no matter like how much, what amount of blah, blah, blah you do, if they don't feel you are living that you feel you're worthy of unconditional love, that you are at peace with all of your parts, the lazy, the selfish, the whatever, the angry. If you're not okay with all of your parts, if you don't feel worthy the way you are, your kids will feel this mismatch, this dissonance, this misalignment. They will feel it's just blah, blah from you. That's why they don't listen, by the way. Because they know it's BS. You're just faking it. That's why we need a healthy blueprint. Because only after you understand what compassion and unconditional love is, only once you understand what a real connection with a child is, without them being scared, and them understanding healthy boundaries, what is it even what is an actual consequence? If you didn't grow up with any of that as a kid, you need to relearn, you need to not become somebody else, but take off these layers of pain that somebody else gave you so that you go back to who you were always meant to be. And you go back to that basic understanding of what is a healthy communication, what it should have been all along with your parents as well. What is it that every child deserves? Only then you're able to give the same to your kids. Only then you're able to give them compassion for when they are lazy, selfish, angry, whatever. Yeah, that's what the mental fitness is. And again, yes, there are tools. There are very specific exercises because just like your childhood trauma healing, this needs to be also practiced day by day, several times a day. Because it was inflicted on you as a pain of 1,000 paper cuts. So now it's not going to all magically disappear by one miraculous technique that you apply one time and in one day. Congratulations, you're healed for the rest of your life. Sorry, no, you're not. It will take 1,000 repetitions. I can tell you as somebody, I've been practicing. I've been doing everything I'm preaching for the last 6 years. The good news is that has become my new autopilot. So I can do it now without even thinking. But if for whatever reason I would forget to practice and I would ignore all the signs along the way that I should go back to my practice, I would slowly go back to who they made me to be at the beginning. Because that's my default autopilot. It will be for the rest of my life. That's why I made this practice my new autopilot that is overdriving it. And it's working, but I will keep practicing for the rest of my life. That's why I'm also so excited when I have parents in my assessment call, parents of kids who are less than 3 years old. Because the smaller they are, the faster you can still help them heal. If they're older than 3, if they're still between 3 and 6, you can do a lot of damage control. If they're older than 6, I'm not saying like, okay, forget it, they're lost. Like, no, of course you should help them by healing yourself first. But it's going to take more time. And most likely they will have to keep practicing for the rest of their lives too. But the good news is they can learn it with you. So they can start practicing with you. They can start learning the mental fitness with you. And kids are often even faster than the parents. So then I have to like calm down the parents who are so excited saying like, oh my goodness, my kids are so good with this mental fitness practice. I'm like, okay, good. But they are not supposed to be reminding you to practice. Like, you are the one who should take responsibility. They shouldn't be taking responsibility for your healing. It's the other way around, right? So then we are joking. But this is just to say, the younger your kid is, the more opportunity you have to rewrite that and kind of like repair and heal, like put their identity back. If already some parts of it you started chipping off because you started making them feel they are not good enough and it's their fault that you are angry, the sooner you start reverting and taking that back and pouring that unconditional love with healthy boundaries, the more hope there is for their own identity, that they will not need some kind of therapy 30 years from now. Okay, that's why I'm so excited when there are moms who have like kids who are 1-year-old, 2-year-olds old coming in. The risk though is they are feeling like, yeah, and most of the time I'm fine. Yeah, 99% I'm okay. It's just I'm yelling maybe once a month. So it's okay. Thank you very much. This was so informative. I appreciate you so much. This training was amazing. Such great insights. And yeah, after watching the training, I'm doing so much better. Thank you so much. Bye. And they go back to the pattern of like, I'm going to muscle through. And then they come when the kids are 5, 6, 9, 12 years old, when the real problems start. And I'm like, where have you been, woman? We could have prevented all of this struggle, like all of this mess with kids being addicted to screens and starting to lie and steal. And like, where have you been? Let's do it now, please. So this is my message to moms who have younger kids, who have babies, and who are feeling, I'm still fine, I'm just looking for more information. Please, please. If I could have the moms of teenagers come and talk some sense into you, like you have no idea. They would give the world, they would give anything to be able to turn back time. So please don't wait for the situation to be really bad for you to start taking action. Okay? Because as I try to explain to you in this episode, these tools, it's not about reading more books to get more tools. What do you need? Recap for yourself. What is the first thing you need? Yes, heal that little girl inside of you who jumps up whenever life becomes more difficult than what you can handle. How do you do that? Do you do that by reading more books or watching more videos about the inner child, doing more inner child meditations? What is the answer? No, right, correctly. The answer is no. Why? Because childhood trauma healing, and especially generational developmental trauma healing, is that a DIY, yes or no? No, it's not. Why is it not? Because can you push through your logical brain to impact your subconscious and your somatic, like in your body? No, you cannot. Well done. So you need to find a specialist who can help you heal generational developmental trauma, 1000 paper cuts, give you practical tools, help you get there first so that you know the destination that you're supposed to reach through your self-practice first. You need to know where to go. And then what is the second thing you need? To have the healthy blueprint, not to repeat the autopilot of your parents, you need to learn how to rewire your brain so that it goes from shouting, people-pleasing, or avoiding into healthy, like staying calm, present, connected to your child, giving them that unconditional love, making them feel safe even if they make a mistake. That is something, again, that needs to be practiced. And I'm sorry, but I cannot give you like exercise here, 1, 2, 3, because that exercise will be different depending on what you have, what trauma pattern you have. Do you have the avoider? Do you have the hyperachiever? Do you have the people pleaser? Do you have the hyper rational staying in your brain? Depending on which one is strongest, you will have a different exercise, okay? Because it is not one size fits all. Yes. So this is my very long answer to your very simple question. Please, what are the tools so that I can stop yelling at my kids? Yes? Well, let me appreciate you for having even the courage to go and listen to me all the way till the end. I can imagine. I can be quite intense. So if you can take it, good. That's a good sign. Next steps. If you haven't, go and get the mommy tantrum training. And from there, I'm outlining it out for you. The next step is the assessment call with me, so that we can go and figure it out and make that connection really clear with your childhood. And we can nail down and finish, like finalize your assessment. Is this, like, how specifically would it look for you? Because I meet lots of women who have not just this. They feel like, I'm ADHD, I have shock trauma, I was abused by my father, I was bullied as a teenager, like whatever, or my dad died when I was 3. Like whatever else happened to your life, it adds complexity. And you might need like tweaks in your process, in your system, in those tools that you're looking for. That's why I'm doing personal assessments. Go and book them as soon as possible, because I'm already training my team. I will not be doing these for too long because there's way too many women who want to talk to me. So we are already doing it in small group calls, not one-on-one. And I'm training one super amazing coach on my team to be able to do these assessment calls as well, because there's so many women who need them and we still want to be able to do it for free. So go book your assessment call, and I look forward to seeing you then, so that we can talk. Because right now it's just me talking at you, and I don't know how that's landing. So I need your feedback, and I want to hear from you what that did to you, and if you're connecting the dots, or if we can help you connect them for you. Yeah, your kids are lucky. Huh? Your kids are lucky to have you, and I keep repeating that, and I will keep repeating that because it's true. They are so lucky they have you, they will never even have the idea. Once you manage to stop this generational train wreck so that they are not hit by it and run over by it, like, this is the best legacy we can ever leave, right? To make sure our kids, they will make their own mistake. Like, I know, my daughter, feel free to make your own mistakes, that's fine. I just don't want you to have to carry mine. I don't want your backpack of pain to be heavier because of what I didn't clean up, what I just subconsciously put there. That's my intention. I don't need to be perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect. That's my motto. But I want to clean up and lighten up the load of my daughter so that she feel free to fill your own painful backpack with your own mistakes and your stuff, your lessons you need to learn. But I don't need to add to that. And I can make you stronger, so that if other people try and dump things on you, you can like hold your boundaries and just, nope, don't throw that over my fence. This is your stuff to clean up, and leave it there. Yeah, that's why we are here, right? So that our kids don't have to sit 30 years later in some similar training and in some similar therapy. Yeah, that's why they're lucky to have you. Well done, Supermom. I will see you very soon. And if not, I'm going to see you in the next episode of the Zen Superman Podcast. Bye.